Hey guys.
Oh,
Hello,
how you
everyone.
doing?
Welcome to Mint with my co host Ben and our guest Phil from Driftxchange. What's
Oh,
going
it's
on,
good.
everybody?
It's
Very
good
good, thank you.
to have you on board, Phil.
No, it's great to be on the show. I was wondering when Andrew was going to ask me on board.
Well,
Yeah, it's great to finally be here.
it's been a little bit of a wild ride because we started the show right before Christmas, and then we took a break, and then I think we tried. It felt like to me, like we were trying to start the show all over again, and and then last week was interesting for anyone who watched.
Yeah, no, there's no fire alarms going off this week,
No
or
fire alarms this week. No, hopefully no one in the apartment is drowning. That'd be good. But aside from that, we're all here, and we've got a few people already tuning in. We're going to be doing a giveaway for a punk today, so you're going to want to type out punk funk as the giveaway. What do they call that phrase, right? So we'll say that again once we've got a few more people coming in here. So Phil, how you been, man?
very, very busy,
I
but
see
in
that.
in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday it's been crazy today. I'm just trying to get all the website bits finished and trying to get everything organised. That's what I like to do on a Sunday.
Right.
I like to just get all those bits that I've left or I've forgotten during the week. I just try to get them all done before a fresh Monday. So that's been my day today.
Yeah, I was taking a look at the website earlier, and like, man, you guys have been busy. I was looking at all the additions to the private collection, and it's just, yeah, it's some amazing stuff, man. I'm really impressed. I mean, you got like, you hit the ground running with this project, and having Ben on board and just like artists right away. It was funny. When when you contacted me, I had started noticing like maybe a few days prior, artists doing this Drift X thing, and I was like, "What is this all about?" And yeah, I was just I was reserved because it's you don't know right off the bat what something is, or you know, so I was just waiting to see like who was going to make what for this thing, and I noticed Windy and Gnaw Bears started creating some stuff, and particularly Windy, like it grabbed my attention because he's a good friend of mine for one, but he's got a lot of integrity, and he's a hard dude to like get to say yes on something if he's unsure about it. And when I saw him doing stuff for you, I was like, okay, well then this is legit, because if you can get through Wendy's door, that's a tough one, man. I've seen him on Discord and stuff months ago, and he'd be like just nailing people with hard questions. I talked to him on the phone. I was like, was that too rough? He's like, was I being too rough?
He was really good, and I think I came to him with a vision as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just saw his art, and immediately I thought, well, this guy I think could do the original mascot, which is Driftus Maximus.
Yeah,
And
I love that.
I don't know why. I just thought Windy as there's an abundance of amazing artists to choose from, as you know. But I don't know why. It was just something about his style I thought would be great, and also a foundation style that everyone can make a really good interpretation of. So I'm hoping that's how we're going to move forward with Driftus Maximus, and lots of artists are going to do different interpretations of. And I think that maybe for him was really enticing. I wasn't just coming forward and saying, "Oh, I just want to commission a piece. Just do me anything. Just hit the logo. Just go." It was kind of like a subtle vision, and I think he might have appreciated that.
No, definitely. He's one of those guys that really likes he likes a good amount of detail. His art has an interesting form to it. It's minimalist, but it speaks from the core of who he is, and I think it also speaks to really anyone that's like lived in the city, or worked or done a lot of like a commuter type person. He lives in Chicago, and I'm from a small city outside of New York City in New York, and I've been to Chicago, and like as soon as I saw his stuff, I was just like, oh, that's just everybody, isn't it? That's just people, and it's just yeah, it's just great that when I saw his stuff on the collection, I was like, yeah, okay. And then to see Null Bears popping in, I was like, wow, I got to look into this. And then you messaged me not long after that.
Yeah,
I think I told you.
Norbez was great as well. Yeah. That really shocked me because I was going in for the big guns immediately. So I like to go big or go home. So I think we approached it right, and that's why people were excited to work with us. But I think it really started because I messaged Sir Cheesley. He was one of the first people I messaged, and
Cheesley
his response was great.
He's like he's like a bridge. Cheesley's got this great like marketing sense that like people approach him first, and I think it's the way he handles himself. He's very middle road. He always makes sure things are done the right way, and people see that, and I think he has like his own like little like he has people that he finds or that gravitate towards him. It's interesting to how people gravitate towards him, and it always works out in the end. Like he's an incredible force. So
I didn't realize how much of a bigger force he was going to be because I initially contacted him to commission some art.
Yeah.
And he just started talking to me about, this. I can do this. We can do this. I can speak to Ben, and that's how I got in contact with Ben. So, like you said, very much so. Sir Cheesley is a bridge as well, and he really bridged myself to a lot of the team that we have now. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for that. And then Ben came in and went mad with the tokenomics, as you know, not in the best possible way. His genius.
Well, I think I even told you, I was like, I need to think about, what I want to do. And like, because I have like so much in my personal like achievements that I need to like create, and then promises that I've made to other people. And like, I was like, I don't know, what I'd be able to do for you guys. And then frankly, when Ben released that damn tokenomics video, serious creative FOMO. Like if there is creative FOMO, I had it that day.
I think Ben also proved that there's creativity with the numbers, with the technicals as well. And I think that's why I appreciate Ben doing the education, because now he's showing people how creative you can be on the back end. It's not just this boring thing that no one wants to know about.
Well, that's the thing.
You can get just as creative as you can with the art, and I think that's paying dividends now.
Well, that's the thing, though. What you guys do is extremely creative. The way you guys tackle it. I mean, lots of people can do this industry and create a crypto project, or they can build any number of things in the space. But the creativity that comes out of people who are making it, who are doing the coding, who are doing the math, who are building the websites, that all is so much more important from like the initial scheme of things, because you have to grab people with that right away, and then they look at what else is being offered, the NFTs, the artists, the reward payouts. They need to see a good backbone, and almost like it's like if it was like you were trying to present like a storefront on a main street, and you're a new business and you don't have any sort of flair or any sort of like intriguing thing about what makes your business, and you guys are just like it's always at the forefront of your mind,
I've always said, if your business looks like the Addams Family on the outside, it probably is on the inside as well. So more often than not, I've always prided myself on that. It's the small details, even in the presentation, and I show people that this is what we do on the front end. Imagine what we do on the back end.
Yeah.
This is usually something that people don't usually care about in the presentation as much. But I have always been a firm believer in that. And the harder I work on the front end and make everything look pretty and presentable, the harder I like everything to be on the back end, the harder I like to
Right.
work.
Yeah. You can't have just a veneer and no good, plan, or, oh my God, if, the tokenomics are wrong, and Jesus, so Ben, how are you?
Yeah, I'm like exceptionally good today. I've like Nor's turning into a bro across the pond.
He's a
we
good
know
man.
that he's
Yeah.
a really good dude, right? We know that,
He
but like
is, yeah.
I've been smashing my head like a rhinoceros against the garage door for like 3 weeks, doing like 14-hour days trying to think about this. We've got this X races coming up, right? And
Mhm.
just to kind of drop a few things out to the community, it's almost going to be like a what's it called now? There's a game, a really Gran Turismo, right?
Yes.
Gran Turismo,
Yes.
the game. It's
Yeah.
going to be like this, but it's going to be obviously in NFTs and that kind of representation. Now, to make that work, we need to be able to use NFTs as a currency. Right, so we've been trying this, and most of you guys will know we've been using DriftXO2. You've been buying with DriftXO2. DriftXO2 is an NFT. You use the NFT to make the purchases within the weekly NFT drops that we have. So we are already trying to do it, but we've been doing it manually. And Sir Cheesley has been putting in hours, and I've been thinking we need to automate this. We need to find a way where we can buy and sell NFTs for other NFTs, right? This has to happen. It's like I'm like relentless on the pursuit of that, relentlessly pursuing it. And Nora and I have had like 3 meetings at over an hour, and I've been trying to screen share, and there's been glitches, and he's been screen sharing. It's one thing's been working, another thing's not been working, and we've been thinking, how do we navigate this? And last night about 2 o'clock in the morning, he sent a message, so I didn't get it until this morning, and he went, I've got it. And I was just like, oh my God. And honestly, it was almost an emotional moment, because I've invested that much into making this work. I was like, I can't believe it. So today, just before this, I recorded like a tutorial video for other projects where we can, and I'm sure Nora will do something as well, but where we can teach people how they can use NFTs as currency. So they can have this pool of NFTs and they can use them as currency for gamification. And I personally think this is blowing up gamification on Stellar. This one breakthrough is going to break, because as soon as you kind of say, okay, well, we can airdrop you some of these NFTs and you have to buy some, and there's all different ways that you can acquire them. But when you acquire enough, you then move to the next phase of the game. So, right. For example, what we're doing is we're having, say, like engine parts, right?
Yeah.
You have to have a set of wheels. You need 4 wheels to have your car in the X Racers game. Without those 4 wheel NFTs, you can't move to the next engine part, which is the engine. Now, I need the 4 wheel NFTs to be able to be used as currency for the engine. Right, so that is the first step in. So now, if people don't want to collect the 4 wheel NFTs, that's entirely up to them. But the ones that want to be the X Racers will collect the 4 wheels, right? So this NFT then is sent back to us, and they purchase on Lightmint, they purchase the engine, and this is like a domino sequence. So they get the engine, and then they're able to get the engine, and then we might put, say, another piece that they would need. Maybe it's a 2-piece, so it's 4 wheels, and then it might be 2 different pieces that you would have to collect. Maybe a driver and a co-driver or something like that would be the next stage, and then them 2 lead to the next one, and then that one leads to the car, and then the car opens the game where you can, and it's going to be randomized, be like a winner, second place, or third, like the podiums, and you're going to get some obscene prizes based on the sales of the early parts of the engine parts and all. So all of this is in my head, and I'm unpacking it now, but like it had to work NFT to NFT. Nor cracked it. I've done the tutorial. We're rolling.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Go.
I don't know if this is okay. Yeah, I do know. So this is evidence of like severe psychic kinetic activity, because I was thinking about this morning. I wanted to talk about this game if there was anything to talk about it. I was thinking about the options for NFT to NFT buying. I mean, I was talking with I think it was RD Crypto, a week ago or so. We noticed there was this thing happening where people are offering up NFTs on Lightmint to bid for that NFT with something called NFT. And it sort of spurred off this whole like thing. And, I've been thinking about this for a while, is that how do we get some sort of like pool to pool that are only NFTs? When did we get to that? I've seen them on other places. I know it's a matter of time. We have the whole, you send out those drift tokens, you get back the NFT corresponding to the amount that you sent out. That works, but it's not quite so interactive, and it's not technically, it doesn't feel very game like now, does it? When you think about it, it works, it gets the thing going. I can't believe that you guys have been spending the last like X amount of hours thinking and planning and talking about this. I mean, I shouldn't be that surprised considering what Noah's been doing with like the health potion thing, and he had a few other tweets about his coding currency in-game stuff, and he's a genius, and not that he's the only one doing this, but I think he's a creative genius because he's taking the initiative to do it, to figure it out, to make it work on Stellar, to find people to help him. I can only imagine how many hours he spends trying to figure this stuff out and talking to people, and things. So
it's yeah, you're absolutely right. And you went back to Sir Cheesley earlier in this kind of power of networking, and we obviously invested from Drift. Phil will probably fill us in a little bit more on that. It invested in the Norbears project because we wanted to see an acceleration of this. If finance is holding projects back, we want to be making sure that, especially if they're NFT and art based, we're trying to help those projects break through. Sometimes it's finance holding them back, sometimes it's out, or sometimes it's just goddamn time. Like me sitting on a computer thinking, like, how does this work? I'm not being a coder and trying to understand the mechanics of why it's failing. And then speaking to Nora and saying, look, I need another meeting, of like, let's get our brains together, let's try and crack this nut. Why is this? I need this to work. And I think that networking and coming together, I think that we're going to, exponentially grow now, because what we've got is, rather than currency buying NFTs, as soon as we've added, and like I say, the credit here is all in Nora's camp. But as soon as we've added this like kind of health potion, and I did it today with DriftXO2, as soon as we've added this ability in, now you don't have to just be that one-way traffic, currency, and custom currency into there. We could say, if you use a certain NFT, you're going to give you a discount, right? So like Nuna are doing a 15% discount if you use Nuna tokens, as in a currency token, a traditional token. We could say, if you buy this NFT, we're giving you a discount. We're going to give you some currency in NFTs, and we're going to give you a discount if you buy in them. So
I was doing a little bit of all of this in my own way from the moment I started, like the collection, the Stellar Punk collection. I was always finding some way to make some sort of gamify attempt in my own way, not in any sort of big scale like a whole project, but just interacting with my collectors in the community. When I created the Santa Punk, that I was giving out NFTs for people who were buying that, and they were getting NFTs from all over my collection of artists from all over Lightmint. And when JPEG tokens started, I tried. It was a very failed, short-lived thing, but I wanted to create the punk club that when you had a certain amount of punks, I would be sending out a JPEG token every month. And it got a lot of buzz online. Didn't get really a lot of like interaction in the collection, so much so that when I was sending out tokens, people weren't claiming them. They were sitting there for weeks. You know, I did it for a few months. Some people took them. It was early on too. People weren't really familiar with the airdrop system on Stellar and like claimables, and like there weren't one guy. I got one guy in the collection who bought a lot of Stellar Punks, and that made me feel like, well, I could never give him anything, to be honest, because I can't afford it. It was just like a little incentive, you know, like that kind of thing. So that was short-lived with the with giving out tokens. And you know, even now, you know, when I did a hidden album track, and then whoever bought that got a limited first design punk from that, you know. So I love all of this because I've always wanted to try to find some way in my own at my own pace and my own ability to give collectors more. And if, you know, if they wanted to play along, great. If some people didn't know, like when I created the animateds originally contained 4 custom punks, but as the collection dwindled down in size, I had to stop the custom punk give outs. And there were also a number of people who had bought those and didn't then claim their customs. They still could, but they haven't.
I think what it's done for us, I mean, is it given us that utility for dropped NFTs.
Yeah.
So where you said now, you know, for me in my head, you know, you said, I want to create this for my community. So instead of it being a one-trick pony where you give out a punk and they either, you know, sell that on or they keep it in their art collection, you now can go, okay, you know, those that we just airdrop you, now you can use those as currency for these bad boys. You know, and people are like, whoa, you know, where's my claimable balances? I need to get on these new, and you only make those few saleable for those ones that you drop to your early supporters. So this is engagement on steroids, isn't it?
It is. And then you could then just go ahead and sell whatever NFT you happen to get in that trading system off for crypto. I mean, it, you know, it all depends on what the person then wants to do with their collection, isn't it? Because, you know, we're in what they would call a bear market. Things have gotten very low. I'm wearing my hat today to try to drum some force up in myself. NFTs, man, I think, you know, people can get a lot out of that when the market's like this, you know, from the creator standpoint and the collector standpoint. You know, if you're collecting something that is a hot collection, you know, you could make a couple bucks, you know, back from what you're losing in your portfolio, and not have to sell and just hold, you know, because it will go back up. And we all know that, you know. So yeah, I just think it's extremely unique. I love it. I'm so glad that you guys are
yeah, no, it's
breaking
amazing.
minds.
I know Ben's been scratching his head for a while now trying to get this sorted out. And I'm not surprised that it was Noor and Ben together, and Noor came forward with this information, and he's been trying to help us with it, because I do think it's an absolute game changer. Like how we approach this whole NFT space and gamified NFTs is this will change everything. I'm certain, and just the fun aspect of it. Like, I mean, collecting 4 wheels and engine parts to get that end NFT that's going to have so much value. And like for me, I look at NFTs as art. I look at it as many different aspects. You know, I think it has many different aspects. But I'm a collector also, so I love the collector part. So for me, I think this is amazing. It really brings people in and engages with the collections rather than just
people. Yeah, it's just like, we've always wanted to interact. I mean, anyone that's collected anything, we love. Like if you collected cards or comics or art, you know, you want to find the people that also collect those things along with you, so you can even trade. I mean, trading was big back in the day. I remember swap meets were huge for collections and things, and it all got big business, you know. But I think what's really interesting is it just doesn't stop with wheels and engines, does it? Like you can do. You know, you've got air intake manifolds, you've got you know, performance chips, you've got this, you've got that. It's like I had told you, Phil, when I saw the X Racers thing, and I had no idea about it even when I was just like, well, Racer Punk, yeah, I'm gonna make that like right away, and it's just like, oh, oops, how did that happen? So that was just like funny, coincidental, like just like the way things go. And, I love that idea, just all of it. Cause, it's like, it's something that is more, it's more grounded in real life, isn't it? We all have a car. A lot of us are car enthusiasts. It doesn't just extend to the fact that, we may like cryptos or NFTs. We're many things, aren't we, people,
But
So
also, I think that where do we, in my mind, I'm already thinking, okay, we need to go to like NASCAR and sponsorships and Stellar Projects and get these cars wrapped in a, Stellar Projects branding. And I go to Lumen Swap and say, you need to pay us X amount of LSP to have the Lumen Swap NASCAR in the X Racers. Otherwise, you miss out. And the same
imagine.
All of the different Stellar Projects, and the offer's there. So they're going to get the publicity as this game grows in stature. They're going to get the opportunity of coming in as real life sponsors. So the designers that are coming up with the car can make it, instead of going, I'm going to make a car and I'm just going to stick the Drift logo on it. They can do it like Castrol and, kind of Firestone, and they can have these cars that are just badass, and they have been sponsored by the Stellar Projects. And that will then give us a war chest of rewards for those on the podium. But what you can also do is, as you go through the games, the different stages, you can then sell out your position. So as you were saying, then, if you don't want to be the car owner, if you want to get to the stage maybe just before that, it's the driver or whatever and the helmet and all the stuff, you might go, right, I'm at the one stage before getting the car, I'm selling this for $1,000. Because I know the prizes are going to be worth, way more. So I'm actually so you're going to trade as the game unfolds as well. If you haven't got, if you've got 3 wheels and you're like, I need 4 wheels. Someone's got a wheel up for sale, 100 XLM, boom, got myself a wheel.
I always think about like the ones that like people keep, and like a year goes by and they're like, I never got that one. And like there's always that guy that's just like, well, I've had these for over a year, and I'm ready to let them go now. I mean, that's what I learned early on with NFT collecting, especially collectible NFTs, is that, or really any, it's buy, hold for about 4 months, and then look at your market, and then judge it from there on. And I think that's essential for any collector, to take a good look at your the length you're willing to accept an NFT as an investment. Now, if you're just playing and having fun, if you got like we're playing the legacy game and you got some jokers and you got your reward payouts and you're happy, you're set, you're good. Some people, want to try to capitalize on that. I can only imagine if someone wants to pass that on to somebody else, so yeah, it just kind of goes on and on. Could you imagine a Lucy Formula One car at Monaco or something? Like,
that would be cool.
The thing is, that's where does it go? I mean, if you get to a point where this kind of thing takes off,
toys. Really, I think mostly you get right to toys first, don't you? Like, I remember that when the car modding thing, not to interrupt you, but when that took off in like the early 2000s, with Pimp My Ride, and like everybody got really into modding their cars, there were these little die cast cars that they started making that you could take out the parts in with little tools and everything, and then you just put them on your desk. The Legos got like wild like car designs now. You can put little engines and lights in them. Imagine what's stopping Lego from getting into NFTs, tomorrow.
Nothing. That's the thing. I think it was Jack last week said about, there's the only limitation is your mind. And I think when you've got people that are constantly striving to expand the thinking and the games and how we operate, such as Nor, myself, and, a whole host of other people, Phil, Cheesley, yourself, there's lots and lots of people on the network that are, always not happy to remain in the balance, equilibrium. We're always stretching everything all of the time. When you've got those, I mean, where does it end? I'm thinking, you actually have this kind of, in the UK, down in the London Underground, you've got like loads of Floki advertisements, and I'm like, this must be costing a shit ton to be having all these crypto ads all over the London Underground.
Yeah, I think about that a lot too.
And you think, well, okay, what's to stop if this mechanism worked well? We know how big, you know, the auto industry is globally, and car racing and everything. How does this, you know, how do we blend that? How do we find that, you know, where we enter the world? And then they start having, you know, the physical cars start having Driftxchange sponsorship on the back bumper, you know, and they're like, whoa, what's this drift? You know, you kind of see where we're heading. And everyone that's involved in the Drift project must also understand this is not your regular kind of token hold and let's do nothing. We haven't even touched on, you know, the legacy stuff that you're creating at the minute. You know, Gangster's Paradise next month is, I mean, Phil, talk to us about what, you know, it's.
Yeah, explain this a little more to people that may not like understand what exactly is going on when they get these NFTs.
There's going to be a lot of rewards. I mean, you can go and check it. I'll have all of the Extreme crew information, which is all tied into this as well. So yeah, you could end up being an Extreme crew member, which has a lot of benefits for holding these legacy pieces. So, and obviously the game pieces have lots of rewards as well. So I think it's going to be huge, mate. I mean, like you was just saying, UFC announced I think yesterday or the day before that NFTs they're having NFTs coming out now of 10 second knockouts, and yeah, I mean they're already, you know, it's already trending. They're going to be absolutely massive, and they've got fighter profiles. So yeah, we're not. I think we're catching the wave of this, but I think we're doing it a little bit differently. And I think what we're trying to do is, like I said earlier, is try and create this engagement with the art. Like for me personally, I love just looking at art. I can look at it all day. But for me, for a crypto project to move forward, it needs to innovate. And for me, innovation in this space is gamify. And I'm excited to see what the legacy pieces do, and including next month. I've seen a couple of pieces, Andrew. I'm super excited, and I know it's going to blow every person's minds apart. Honestly, I said to Ben yesterday, I said it's like he can see into our minds and then lay it out perfectly, like even more perfect than I would have ever have imagined. So yeah, I'm super excited, and I think everyone else should be as well. If you think the Joker pieces were going to be big, I think next month you're going to see something even bigger.
Well, I wanted myself to evolve along with it, like I have with everything else. Like when you look at like my collections have been like a process of me gaining confidence back in myself. Like I used to draw regularly. We're talking a few years back, and then I hit this part of my life where I didn't draw for about 2-3 years. So flash forward into NFTs, I had to work myself back up. I had to gain all that muscle memory back. I had to do all the things that I once did every day for 10 or more hours. And that was doing it for nobody but myself and trying to get my name out, and then getting paid very little anytime I got a little bit of work. So the lead up to all of this and doing these things for you guys and being a part of this is like, it's just everything that happens to me now pushes my confidence to do the things that I used to want to do, but couldn't take the time to because I couldn't afford to. And when I started seeing these auctions ending for these Jokers, which by the way, like for anyone that could ever say like, well, Andrew must be getting quite the kickback and whatnot. Well, no, I got paid for the work I did, and this is all going towards the community payouts and the people getting involved that want these NFTs. You know, I'm happy with the amount of attention I just get from it purely from that right now. You know, that's great. It's just blowing my mind that people are getting something back from a system that is really just tied to my art. Like I can't take too much credit for it. Like it's my art that's there, and I think that's amazing. But then when I think about everything else involved, I know that there's like so much more that I hold here that like it just it shocks me. Really, that's the only way I can like say that I spend most of my time feeling very shocked at the cause of events. So I end up wanting the art to really speak for how I feel. And I watch you guys interact every day on Twitter. I see sort of what you guys want through your musings. Like Phil, when I actually got to see your face on Ben's show last week and got to see you talk, and I immediately gained a lot of information that I needed to represent something better from my own creative standpoint for someone else, because it's about interpretation. I'm here to interpret the world. That's what artists do. We shouldn't. I shouldn't even be here talking right now, to be honest. My opinion has always been, if you are really an artist that does a visual medium, you don't need to be talking. You need to be out there watching and then mirroring that back and showing the world what you see, and plenty of those guys are doing that right now, so I knew round 2 needed to be something bigger, and Ben was like gangsters and this and that. And then when I saw he was like 6 months, I was like, I knew we were going to be doing something. I was like, well, it can't just be one round. When I started drawing up the Jokers and like the idea, and I'm like, well, what are they planning? And he's like, can I share with you something? And he's like, he showed me the payout before you guys like went public with it. And like, it just like blew my mind. And, it made me think more. It made me kind of tireless to think about like, well, this needs to be bigger every round, or at least hit a standpoint where like it feels like there's also an evolution in the art along with the evolution of each round of the game. And I really just wanted to all be about respect mostly, that you guys would feel that the collectors would feel that even just people looking at it would understand what's going on. And it's like I told Ben the other night, I showed him like when I was working on one car and I didn't like it. I actually like ditched it. It was too round. I knew I wanted it to have this street chase scene, and I had to ditch other art. Like, here's the thing. Like, I'll clue you all in on something. Comic book art can be very tricky, not just from a design standpoint, but you can draw something out and then reread your script, which is what I'm doing on Legends of Folk, and realize that the perspective you wanted actually isn't the perspective you need when the next panel is reflecting something different in the story. So where the place that I had put the streets did not make sense to me 2 panels later. So I had to ditch it altogether. Never going to be used. Had to redraw it. It needed to be more like this and less like that. So I reused it. It was in sketch form, and then I inked the hell out of it and drew up a new car. And Ben was just like, "You're a fucking magician." Excuse me.
The perspective is incredible, mate. The bridge behind and the building, I'm blown away. And
it's simple stuff.
I've just seen it in ink as well. Like, I haven't seen the finished products, and I'm already blown away.
I don't have one yet.
Even just in ink, I think it would be a highly sellable piece. I really do.
I hope it works out from the standpoint of other things that I want to do with it. Then, like when adding like some of the background animation stuff, like my animations, like you could call it animations, but to me, really, I'm just,
pull it up. Noah's asking, pull it up onto the screen if you can.
Yeah, the gangster preview. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Anyway, you guys if you have anything to say, go right ahead. I didn't mean to like interrupt.
Well, no, so I'll just, while you're looking for that, I'll just add that this is 30 legacy pieces that are going to be over 5 months. Six legacy pieces per month for 5 months is 30 legacy pieces. They're all going to be one-of-ones. There's going to be, what I've tried to do with ink is I've tried to give him different inspirations for each of the different months. So there's going to be Gangster's Paradise in February. This is going to be Jokers. You can see here. So this is going to be an NFT right here on the screen now. Let's just remove this comment here. Shows a sneak. Let's hide that so you can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can see. So inks used. Well, talk us through, Andrew, what you've done.
Let's see here. Well, does that help making us go away? Anyway, I think I'll put this back on there. Oh, damn! There we go. So so basically, I really wanted to give the game a world. If it's like gangsters and stuff, and there's it sounds like each round has a connection to each other. It would have been one thing for you guys to have done a Joker game and then do a gangster game and then do you could have separated every single one of these if you really had wanted to, but you chose for them to all be rounds that are interconnected. So I started thinking, like, okay, well, the Joker guy is part of the crew, and I started world building in my head, and I started thinking about a city. I'm doing city stuff with like some superhero stuff, and I wanted to start thinking more comic book world from my own personal work that I have to do. I have to do more comic book stuff lately, so backgrounds are everything to me at the moment. So really, this is just a snippet. Like this, I would say that the whole piece probably is double in size of this, but I have to think about how that will work for the card form, and then the animations. Like, because I like to key out backgrounds. So like, if there's empty space in the back, I'll add something in there to make it look like the background moves. It gives it sort of that. I like that hologram kind of card effect. A lot of people do the spinning cards. I don't know how to do that crap. I need to learn how to make cards that are like 3-dimensional. So I only know from what I know and what I use at the moment. So basically, the car, I wanted it to be squarer. It needed to feel more like how cities are, because cities are very compact. And I felt like when I was starting to think about square effects, no, better saying After Effects. Yeah, I haven't used After Effects in like 9 years. So I need to relearn that. Anyway, so cities are very like this. There's a lot of that, going on. And when I thought about old school stuff, I wanted more boxing, and just more in your face. When I felt like things were rounded, then that I would have had to make it more out in the middle of nowhere. And I was kind of tired of drawing just vast space, because I've been drawing things literally in space or like on a moon or on something, and then there's really no world. So our world, it has a lot of angles, and I really wanted to really up my game on what people were getting, especially when I saw what people were paying. Not that they're not getting a lot, but it made me feel like I needed to do more.
Yeah, dude. Even the line of the wheel, the front right wheel just turning in line with the building and the bridge. I know they're slightly different. They have to be for the perspective, but you've nailed it, mate. You've absolutely nailed it.
Thanks.
I cannot wait for these to be released next month.
Well, I hope that the whole thing will blow people away enough, because I wanted, like I told Ben, I wanted the car. I started thinking, I was like, well, we made these legacy ones, and they're like the top tier, the ultra ones, And when I started thinking about mobsters, gangsters, what have you, there's always a job, right? There's somewhere to steal, right? There's always a bank or something. So, I was like, well, then the car should be everything. That's the getaway. I thought about the hideout, and I was like, nah, not quite so grabbing in attention, doing a hideout, but maybe a getaway car. Them trying to get away from their successful job would really be interesting. And I spent hours trying to get that all to work, because then I had to redraw the car in the right way, and it just it probably should not have been done in the amount of time that I was doing it, but I did it. I still have to color it. I still have to finish it. Everything I showed you there, this little bit of area, there's all this out here that's just still just nonsense. It's like just sketch work and like not.
But I think it kind of almost goes into like a, you know, my brain is like going into overdrive. Maybe I just need to go and drink some milk. I think Noor said earlier on. Yeah, maybe I need to drink some milk. If I drank milk, I would go and drink some. But I think like you go into like a Gotham, don't you? You almost go into that kind of environment where now we're going to have our characters. We're going to have, and I know this kind of people are going to say, oh, you can't do that because of like kind of the Joker. This Joker's a little different than the Batman Joker, but part of the crew. And then you have like the city, which you've got the cityscape that's building out now. And then you've got the masterminds, and the masterminds are all female. Like they're like this super slick so each part of this in my mind that I kind of unravel to you, you kind of unpack all of my mind, and then you like give us it in visual representation. So what I'm seeing is this developing world, which is when Noor comes back in again, where we can kind of go, okay, how do we take these 30 characters? How do we then gamify that at the next level, which is like kind of that whole trippy metaverse NFT physical world bounce back, you know? And I think we can then, as soon as we've got the characters and as soon as we've got the ideas and the basis and the cityscape and this kind of underworld vibe, we can then go, this is a 6-month block. Next 6-month block is according to where we are in crypto world. You know, if we're at a place where we've got the tools available and we've got access to these things, great. If not, we'll have to create the gateways and the bridges so that we can make that stage of this. So this is like, say,
did you say bridges?
You are?
Did you say bridges?
Well, yeah, potentially. We
see what but do you see what I'm doing there, right? Like I gave us a city. There's a bridge in the background. Like, you know, I'm paying attention to the words that people quite literally use every day. And want to transform those like literally in my art, you know, and that's up to the person to notice that, whether they want to or not, you know. So,
but also I think also what you're doing is, you know, you're evolving, you know, your artwork. You're including these kind of words and, you know, these kind of references that we're having on a daily basis, but also that's then reflecting back to us because the likes of the creatives on the network are then looking at the art and being inspired to go to the next level, you know, and thinking, where do we take this is the next thing and how do we evolve? And I firmly believe that the stuff that Noor's doing, the stuff what you're doing now, and many of the other artists as well, but specifically around this kind of, I know Noor's going to be doing some accessories for us for this kind of, you know, deep, and it's dark in my mind. You know, it's a dark environment. He's going to be making some accessories that we're going to be having some guns and some money and some, you know, all of these kind of NFTs that are going to be coming. And they're going to link into this game in this kind of system that I've spoke about. You're going to be taking that art to the next level with these characters. And I think these are going to break records. I really do. I've got no doubt in my mind that when people engage with what we're trying to do and feel that energy of what is coming, these are not going to be $2,000 and $3,000 pieces. These are going into 5 figures plus, because, you know, it's part of a much wider ecosystem that's being created.
Yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, I don't really ever have the right words to express the ideas that you guys talk about. That I am fully aware that these things are going to sell for a lot, and that doesn't change really much for me in my perspective of the world. You know, like for me, like even like all of this, it's about creating a story for me. Like, so excuse me if these end up in, you know, if any of this ends up in like a comic book form, you know, because I wanted to point out that the Jokers, as much as that's like, yeah, all right, well, it's a play on, you know, Batman. Well, yeah, that's what you guys kind of wanted, but at the same time, you wanted something different. And to me, I created that Joker as an illusionist. And you can see that in his body posture, and even the way that I created it, and the music. He's a performer, so that would be an interesting person to have in a robbery scheme. Is someone that is normally deceiving people visually, you know, from a standpoint of of entertainment. Now, wouldn't that be interesting if they were part of a gang? You know, then that means everything that they're doing is part of the job, isn't it? And that's where I see it. I see a storyline, in everything I create. I have to. That's the world I live in. As an artist, it's what I thought about the most when I went to film school. They were always trying to get students to think about, how you tell a story from every aspect, from sound design, from video editing, from your camera choices. It doesn't just come down to your writing and dialogue. And even your writing has to have a form of storytelling to it that captures the cameraman, that captures the editors, that captures the other people on production, so they understand the world that is being built. It's all about texture, and I feel like if I don't have the right amount of texture for something that I'm drawing, I throw it out, and I start all over until I find the connection that I need in what I'm making.
Yeah, I've noticed that in your work, in the detailing, especially in some of your more recent pieces, like the brushwork in the background is incredible. And I don't think people just see the image, like the punk in the middle. But I mean,
Sure.
like, I would encourage anyone, if they haven't done so far, to zoom in and see the detail that's actually around that punk, because you'll be very surprised about with what you see. And I don't think a lot of people appreciate the amount of detail that goes in to the parts that usually people don't pay attention to.
Thanks, man. I mean, it's just, I think that's just one of the things that goes along with all artists, that there are details and things that people just, you don't catch, your eye doesn't catch, because your brain, it reads it, right? And then you have only so many thoughts and emotions about it. I think that's why, like, myself, like when I would go to art galleries, I go back, you don't know what you're going to see every day, even if it's the same art, because you personally that day may not be as open, as you think you are. And I think that's really one of the great things that I even like about NFTs and enlightenment in particular, and any marketplace, is that you can go and look, you can read my comic book strips, you can look at my art. You don't need to own it to enjoy it. You can listen to the music that I make for the album, so people have something to have as more texture for the world I was creating. Like, I had this idea from the very beginning, and I started that in little MP4 clips, and then I just waited. Even with Chris, the guy who writes Legends of Folk, who we're doing a very long comic book series. I said to him, 2 years ago, I was like, wouldn't it be great to make an album and have people buy it like a CD or like a Legends of Folk record or something? And now I'm testing that out on people with stellar punks. I don't want to call you all my guinea pigs in my ideas, but in some ways it is like that, because you have to know if people really dig it, and if they don't, then you move on, you try something else, or you wait. There's always some sort of strategy that has to come along when you're a creative, I think, more than anyone realizes.
I think that I don't think I've ever met anyone that can unpack, like Phil was saying, that you can unpack. I don't know why we connect so well. I would like to try and understand that, but maybe it's the whole Gemini thing, and like I'm one twin and you're the other, or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't want to just boil it all down to that. I don't think Phil's a Gemini, and I get him pretty well. We barely talked. Like, I know a lot of like Geminis, but some people don't put anything into astrology. I think there's a grain of salt for everything in the world. Look at us now, talking the way we are, and connecting with all these great people that are watching. And, Ben, I think when we first interacted, I was making a collection called Wackos.
Yeah.
And the Bull Runner, JR was like, hey, my buddy Ben really likes your stuff. I was like, oh, who's Ben? He just said, Ben likes your stuff. I'm like, who's Ben? So who's this Ben that I've been hearing about? And it was one that you wanted, the Superman one that I had made up, and I had actually already done one. And at that time, I was like really concerned about my collectors and like how people were going to react if I made another one. And like you get all this like stigma in your head when you start out from Ethereum stuff, like that there has to be like these rules and regulations about being an NFT artist, and like I started interacting with people on Stellar, people that were collecting. They're like, yeah, man, that's great. Whatever. Yeah, sure. You know, I don't really care. It's like, you don't care. Not that they don't care, but just sort of that they're just happy to have supported you as an artist and to see someone else want some of your art. And, so we started talking very little, and we weren't really connecting at all. We didn't have the effort to. There was no real reason for us to really connect for a few months. And then Vlad said he wanted me on something, which we haven't really worked. We haven't figured that out. We'll leave it at that. And he's like, well, go talk to Ben. You two need to talk and figure things out and do stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll go talk to Ben. And
Ben sorts everything out.
Here we are talking. I haven't stopped talking to Ben.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I'm glad. I mean, it's everything happens for a reason, like we said about different projects and everything. I think now, we're in line with, I can unpack my thoughts, and then you can actually draw virtually nailed on. And Phil and I were talking about this the other day on our team thread, and we were saying like, how does he be able to do that? I mean, there's ideas, but to be able to hit it bullseye, absolutely on point of what we want, from me and I mean, I'm not even sending you voice notes or going into, I'm just sending you like little Twitter, like, couple of lines. And then you're able to unpack that, and our conversations obviously on this show, and then you come out with this stuff. Well, I mean, it's true testament in the fact that the Jokers have been averaging at $4,000. Whether they're a legacy ultra or whether it's just a legacy, it's $4,000. And I mean, we never expected that, right? In terms of coming out the gates at $4,000, but now it's almost like, well, $4,000 is the legacy kind of base price.
People are getting a lot back out of that. I mean, like, I thought about the other night. I was like, well, those are going for about like $4,000, and then the animated punks go for about $1,300 or a little bit more, depending on the market. It keeps slipping. But it's like, wow, should I be putting the reserves higher on the animated punks, because there's so less of them in the collection, and I think, well, no, the legacy collection is worth what it's worth because of what it's doing for crypto on Stellar. So it's like I respect the levels to which things are going where they're going. And I am not one man to really like, I don't like to talk about like myself in like a way like I did this or I did that. I'll send you like little messages like, like, oh, did you see this thing? Or like, I know this around this time. And like, but I don't really like, I'm not looking to take any extra credit or do anything like out of control. It's just, I love the whole experience. I love how everything's come about. I love seeing how artists are just flourishing. And I think, when you talk about like how I can translate from the information that I get from you guys and in my own way, I get really excited, and then my creativity flows. And I want to, say that it's like some unique, like chemistry thing, but really it's just, you guys make me really happy and I want to draw. But I think a lot of artists out there, they don't need a lot of information for their minds to understand what someone wants. It happens all the time. I talk to artists and I'm like, well, what do you need? What do you need? And they're like, well, just that, what I already told them. you know, and it's like, well, great. Okay. Well, if you need anything else, let me know. Like it baffles me some days, you know, where I'm just like, wow, they didn't really need anything from me. That was amazing. Not that it's like, oh, phew, they didn't need anything from me. It's just more like, wow, okay. I hope that was enough, you know, and that they're not just like trying, like, because you never know when a person's going to try too hard, because now they're like, well, I said yes, you know, and that can be a lot. You know, you want to say yes, and then you feel extremely overwhelmed by the idea that now you have to deliver on something. And I think my best advice for any artist that may feel that way, because I get that way some days, and like, I just think to myself, well, you know, just have fun, you know, just enjoy it. Just take a minute, draw something else, and go back to it, you know, and talk to people, talk to the people that you're working with. If you really feel unsure, I'm sure they'll tell you, you know, what you need, you know.
I think when you connect with someone as well, and that, you know, that you get an energy, you know, you have conversations, and we do shows like this, and, you know, you kind of understand the direction. When you get that connection, I mean, you can probably go, okay, I get exactly what Ben's saying now, and we can have 2 sentences, whereas we'd have to have a couple of days conversation. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, I get, yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from. Bang, this is what you need, and you're like, yeah, that's it. So I get that whole connection. I think it's really something that, you know, we've got that. We're really blessed at Driftxchange to be obviously having the, you know, that tapping into you, and you being able, and the same with Noor. I mean, when Phil said to Noor, you know, I need X, Y, or Z, Noor just like within like I mean, that thing that bloody like kind of,
that dude drives me nuts with how he gets things done. It's just unbelievable. I don't know where, I don't know how.
That dude with the like blaster and like, oh my God, I was like, looked at it. And, you know, so
I just want to say outright, like the first time he talked to me, like he was like, when we talked, it was like it was the night of Thanksgiving. He sent me a message. Like it was very early on when the collection started going and getting hot, you know, because I remember seeing the drawn gnaws and thinking, what's this all about? These are fun. Look at these bears. They're ridiculous. And then like it took a little time, and then this whole thing started, and it just, it steamrolled, you know, and he sent me a message, and funny enough, he got my collection confused with another collection, and he was like, I don't really get the story. I was like, well, that's not my collection, so don't worry about it. And he was like, wait, he was like, oh, Stellar Punks, right? It was so late. It was 2:30 in the morning. You know, we're both in the same time zone. So for him to make that mistake, you know, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, night before Thanksgiving, totally understandable. And he was just like, I heard you need a guy to develop a Stellar Punk game. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm looking around. I don't know how long it's going to take. I know that's going to take time. It's one of those, that's like the biggest thing that I can think of. And I want to happen for people on the network. It'd be so much fun. I drew up those like original punks. And I was like, oh, like a little like if you ever played Contra back in the 90s or something like that, side scrolling shooters, I thought of that like right away. And he was like, don't go looking any further. Let me finish the Noahverse Minecraft game I'm doing, and then I'll work on that. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. And now that was a while ago, and I don't expect him to stay still. Like, I'll do it because he created a monster. But, you know, maybe we'll talk about it and, you know, figure something out. You know, I was slow crawling my own designing way through making a video game because I like to do a lot of things. I do. I like to learn new stuff. I took a lot of, you know, different courses in school, and I think he's from the same sort of breed. You know, you want to learn, constantly learn new things to express yourself, you know, as an artist. So I'm still interested.
Oh man, that's
if you're sure, dude, we'll have you on to talk about it.
That's super exciting.
The many juggling arms of the Gnaw Bear, like.
You know, they see those comedy sketches.
I don't know. I can't promise anyone anything or put any. I don't want to do that. You know, it's just crazy. But yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it if we figure out by some time, you know, his thing's rolling on its own or whatever, and we can figure out a game. Great.
I think there's going to be a lot of evolution over the next 12 months. I really do. I think a lot of people are going to be picking up the baton and running with it like a relay race. It's going to be quite exciting.
The idea was always going to be the same. He picked up on stuff that I had talked about in private, like the treasure box idea. Like when he started making that game, All Bears, it was like filled with stuff that I had thought about and like said to like talked about with like maybe Cheesley or a couple other people, and I was like, well, I also said someone would think of it. Like it's just like it was only a matter of time that these little ideas would come about where you get more for what you're doing in your collection, and that someone would figure it all out, and that in turn, with the way the community is, that probably would work out for anyone else that wanted to do that for their own collection and wanted to help, in the process of making everyone do better, in some way. There's always some way that you can scratch another creative's back in their, in their process. So it's just really exciting to think about. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be too much of a hyper. I don't like to hype too much. I just like to see things work out on in their own natural course.
Yeah, you both have incredible work rates as well. So I mean that's what we see as well, and I think that's why we all work so well together, is consistency and work rate. And I think both of you have it in abundance. So to potentially have a collaboration of both of your work rate in there is super exciting. Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I'd love to learn more as we go along on that. And again, it shows, this is why we invested in you both as well, because we see the work rate and the quality as well. I mean, I know some people have a lot of work rate, but it's all about the quality end products as well, and you both just got it. So yes, that's really really good, guys. I'm really happy to hear that.
Thanks. It's been a lot. I know he's got a lot going on. I'm not a father. He is. It's just amazing the amount of things he can juggle doing that too. So I give him like all the credit in the world. Sometimes he'll contact me and be like, I don't really see us as competition. I was like, does someone see it? I feel like saying like someone see us as competition, because honestly, I would never say anyone is my competition. That's on them to feel that way. I was admiring his like everything he does, and just like I felt like it's like they go hand in hand. You're not gonna say that peanut butter and chocolate is a bad thing. And he's inspired me in a lot of ways. He made me want to be more interactive with my like background creations, like all the background stuff he does for even in pixel form. It just grabs my attention. I stare at them, I look at all the little details, and I'm like, wow, is that a space snail? And he's holding a cat. And he's dressed like a wizard. I was gonna start doing funky things like that with Stellar Punks back in the day. I was gonna get like really like ridiculous with what they were wearing, and I felt like, no, I want to do something different. I want to be more. I wanted to more express how I'm feeling from day to day and what I like, and what might be cool for people to see as something different. So I'm really glad that we're not both just putting funky little things on our stuff, because like the bear, it's just something about those bears. It just it makes sense for all of the things that happened with them. You know what I mean? Like I think it I felt like from a certain standpoint with Stellar Punks, when I was trying to force them to look a certain way while maintaining an astronaut, like a whole astronaut outfit, was starting to look stupid as shit. I'm going to admit to that full-heartedly. Like it was getting to the point where it's like, I got to make these guys look like this, like interpretive. And it was like racking my brain. I was like, well, I'm just going to start making them look all different altogether, because that's where I think it needs to go. The bears, just, he could ditch the pixels and just start drawing all of them, and everybody will lose their minds.
Yeah, I think Noah's saying the same thing. He's just meant that we don't need to have a compete as artists. We just can both shine. Exactly. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Collaboration. I think there's too much where it's, that's my competition, and not working together. One of the things that I've particularly wanted to work on the Stellar Network is unity. And I think finally, after like, a long time of trying to work out how we can best do that, we're now starting to see a lot of projects collaborating.
Well, some people want to play that game. Some people want to play the competitive game, and I had enough of that back in the comic book world, like doing conventions every month or whatever, or every year. You sit down at your table, you got a guy next to you, a guy next to that guy, a guy next to that guy, a guy next to that guy, and they're all looking at you like, ooh, well, his stuff's good, but how do I just knock those sales out of his way, And it's like, no, I don't, I just wanted to express myself. You get at that table and you're just like, well, here's my stuff. I'm here. Hey, cool. And then people come around and like, hey, what are you doing here? And it's just like, really? Wow. Oh, why? Because there's Marvel talent scouts here and everybody's watching. Well, yeah, that's why I'm here too, but like, I'm not here to knock your feet out from under you. I'm actually here to actually buy some of your art if I get some sales. Like I would go around, that's the same thing. Like people bought the hell out of Stellar Punks right away. And then everybody started having fun on the site, and I noticed, at least I felt like I noticed that my collection was just, and then everyone was sort of just doing this, right, for like a few weeks. So I started buying people's stuff because I just wanted to spread it around. It was just too much. And then I looked at my own wallet and I was like, oh shit, my bills. But thankfully, the people kept buying the collection, and then everybody started really having fun. And then I started seeing like people notice like, oh, my collection's selling out. I got to make more stuff. I wasn't paying attention to my own collection. People just started buying. And that's what I think is great, is that we can all lift each other up. If you bring in a new collector, you bring in some new excitement, that person or that person's friend is going to come on and also buy someone else's stuff. It's very easy to just see all the art on Lightment. It's not like a hard thing to do.
Give us an insight, Ink, into we're heading rapidly up towards 600 punks now. Give us an insight into what have you got up your sleeve at 1,000 when that collection is complete? Are you just going to be going straight into Legends of Folk and we're going to be having that run out, or have you got something else that you're cooking up, or where do you think?
The comic book for the collection I thought would outlive the PFP collection, and like the ultimate, the end game was sort of to literally get the video game out and do what Gnaw is doing, with where people are using their NFTs. Everybody gets a copy of the game. They can upload their character and play. And then, the things you earn in game are NFTs. So like that would keep like the collection going from that standpoint of like what people are getting from having, a Stellar Punk, and then, let the collection take on a life of its own in the secondary market, however it should go. But I wanted to keep, it grew on me. The story grew on me. It actually grew on Chris with Legends of Folk. He's like, can we make this like part of the universe for the story? I was like, well, yeah, we could do whatever we want, man. I mean, for one, it's your story, so shouldn't I be asking you this? Like, I'm paying. He gets the larger percentage of payout for Legends of Folk. It's his thing. So what he says goes. And then so it's like, but me and him are like that. But it's still his decision. And so the collection will, of course, that 1,000 design stops at 1,000. Comics, things like that. You're still going to get them. I know some people want the collection to keep going. They don't want it to stop. They're like, what am I going to do without a new Stellar Punk out there, just to see it? I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't, I'm not going to renege on that. Huh?
Buy yourself a gangster.
Right. Yeah. Like just something else. Like the Legends of Folk NFT collection starts this month. So that's a build up into the comic. So those are going to be just as fun and cool, and has a new base price. It'll be more affordable for people. Stellar Punks, has gone up in value. I tried, people have told me that the collection did a lot for the community and the network and things. So I feel like it has to have a certain respect level for the grand scheme of things. If some people are like, oh, I can't afford one. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, you can't. I need to keep it at a certain rate. Customs have never changed. You can get customs for less than a new minted Stellar Punk, but you're not. It's going to take a little time. There aren't so many that I can do anymore. So it's just one of those things. So then, really, like, it's going to be whatever you guys end up wanting for me to do. There's the Funky collection in JPEG. Those are 40 plus NFT creatures that I'm creating for JPEG. Gold members get animated ones, silver members get non-animated. They can, and then people can figure out how they want to get the other ones, in between. So that's sort of Pokemon-ish, not to get attacked by anybody, but just collectible creatures. They're funky little things. They're all sorts of, like, they all live in the JPEG mountain. It's got more texture for me to create something for their little universe. So there's definitely going to be a lot for people to get, even when Stellar Punks ends. I haven't planned out 600. I'm actually thinking of 550 at the moment. I'm trying to think of what 550 is going to be. Wait, what? Wait, what? No, Bear. Sorry, I saw a comment. Let me help with funkies. Oh yeah, why not? I was commissioned by JPEG, not to get, I know that we're already going on an hour and 60 minutes, but when I was commissioned by JPEG early on, before they started to really build what the project is now. It was very early days when I started doing art for JPEG for drops, and I put it on the back burner when their advent calendar thing happened, and I animating them all is super easy. Hit me up. All right, yeah, we'll figure it out. Animate them all. We'll animate all of them. Why not? I don't mind. That'd be cool. But so I hit the back burner and thought,
Mint exclusive. We just saw that.
Well, I wanted to say this. I don't know if anyone's ever watched those Stellar Protocol streams that they do on YouTube with the devs. They get together every month and they talk over protocol discussions, and they basically build live. I wouldn't mind if this show was not to say that this show could be like that, but in a way that we're building live. We're building on, we're working on things, right here and now. We could talk about the projects. I'll be as candid as people want me to be, as long as it's allowed and anyone else wants to be. I think that's cool if it's marketed as history put down. So yeah, with those, that we'll make that happen for sure. So that little collection I had to figure out that collection, and that's going to start coming out for people for JPEG. And it's a wild thing, man. I kind of am still just living off my sleeve of creativity in a way, what comes to me. If something sounds cool, I'll try out sketches to people online. And there's been some that I've just never done, finished, and will probably never make it in the collection. I started to realize the Christmas stuff was only going to ever happen once, because the collection wasn't going to make it until next Christmas. So
that means, the power of that, the power of next Christmas. I just snapped up a Dablo Halloween piece punk, and I thought it doesn't have any attraction now. But give that a week before Halloween this coming year. You know what I mean? And you're thinking, yeah, potentially. I think that the NFT space is going to change, but I think that piece comes back in, a week, 2 weeks before Halloween. Christmas ones. Christmas pieces of artwork are never going to go out of fashion. All of us that have got anything to do. I was one of your, your Santa posse at Christmas that got dropped. Some cool piece of artwork on that. That piece in itself, Santa's Workshop, wasn't it? That was the name.
Yes, the Santa Punk Workshop. Oh my God, that was a grueling. That was the start of me going, well, I'm going to add a lot of detail, and this one's going to be more cartoony. But it took me days, and then I was like, this is killing me. And I was like, I finished it, and I don't know if any other artist feels this way, and I know there are. The comic book artists, we basically kill ourselves drawing, because so many lines, your body hurts the next day. I had to rest yesterday drawing the thing that you guys just saw, you know, earlier with the car and the bridge and everything. Like, so it can take a lot out of you, you know, doing this stuff. And but I love every second of it. It's sort of like it's an addiction, isn't it? You know, in a way. Like I feel tired and beat, and then like the adrenaline kicks in and I go, well, I'm ready to do it all over again. It's just yeah, it's special. It's really special. It makes me emotional to think about what the collection even ending, or the collection not having certain things out that I did this year, you know, not doing more Santa stuff. You know, there was like 6 designs I had ideas for that.
Well, that's my Santa collection is buying my island in the Caribbean next year. I've decided that I'm going to just weigh in my Santa's workshop. You know, if anyone wants it, it's going to be about $3 million US. Right, and then that will buy me the rock next to the island. Yeah, and then the whole rest of the Santa collection, that's going to actually buy the island.
This is the punk up for giveaway today that people have been saying punk funk for. There was another one I had. Can you guys see this? I shared it on the screen. You guys can all see that. I had another idea earlier to give away, and Phil was like, "Oh, you are." It kind of hit his soul. I heard so I'm not giving that one away. I won't give that one away. I won't do that to him. It hurt him.
Don't forget, guys.
This is my newest design. I call this the market lover because the market's down. The animated one has a lot of heart effects going on. It's at auction right now. It's got probably a few hours left. So, you know, I like to I like to translate what's going on. You know, people are feeling really down about the market. It's, you know, hit some lows, and you know, crash my ship. But, you know, boom. I see it as all just, you know, it's a part of the way things go, you know, and I want to find humor in that. And I see it going back up, you know, it's just a false, you know, that's just a false gun, you know, it going down. So, you know, I like to have fun with my collections. I also saw that thing about the M&M controversy. They're chocolates, you know, I'm going to make a sexy punk because I think this whole like thing about chocolates not being sexy or whatever is an odd thing to talk about. So, you know, this is where my mind goes, and this is why maybe where people wonder where my designs come from. These are the things I think about. I think about a lot of different stuff every day, and, you know, maybe a little attractive lady punk comes out every once in a while.
That's a good thing.
So that's the one, and we've collected. So now I just screen shared the giveaway tool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be giving away this punk to some lucky viewer in just a second here that typed in punk funk. DM me on Twitter, and I'll get your wallet from you. Let's see here. Now, go back to that. Still new to all this. I think that's the other thing. I'm not a genius at being a co-host.
Why Ink's doing this draw? Then we're off.
Renegade,
nice.
You are the winner of Stellar Punk 543.
Well done, congratulations!
Nice.
What a great win that is. That's fantastic.
Yeah, sorry, I got you there. You were going to say something though. So now that we've done that, we'll wrap up. Do you have anything else to say?
I was just going to say thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you can switch to Twitter and you can share this on Twitter and get the word out there about this show. Also, if you can subscribe to this Mint channel, I think we can see that there's going to be some tutorials, there's going to be collaborations, there's going to be the usual Sunday show, there's going to be lots more coming. I think we're going to be.
I've started doing a little stream drawing like a month ago. I'm going to pick up more of that. You know, I can do that right from the StreamYard. So, you know, you guys will get to see a little in process stuff. I want to be more, you know, interactive with people too. So yes, please like, share, subscribe. We're gonna have Gnaw Bears on at some point. I think next week you want to have. You said we should have on. Sorry, his name is escaping me at the moment.
Shagzilla.
Shagzilla. Yeah, if Shagzilla wants to come on, yeah, let's have him on. I'd also.
Yeah, I think that he's from XRPL, and he shared a story on Twitter with a group of us, and I was like, holy shit, what this dude has been through. I mean, even the story is going to rock people's world. And then I think he's kind of found inspiration in art, and like the whole package of that story was like, this story needs to be heard. So we're going to be bringing him on hopefully next week for you guys.
Great. I just got like a spam of like gifts from Gnaw Bears. Those are hilarious, dude. All right, now I'm just teasing. We could also try to get NFT Riddler on. I was talking to him last night in DM, so maybe he can find some time to come on. That'd be cool.
Super cool.
Yeah. So guys, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Phil, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'd love to come on again someday. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, totally. I mean, I'd like to have people that are somewhat regular to come on and talk about stuff. You know, that was the other thing with the show, is that to try to get more consistent project update news out there, and that it has somewhere to stay. You know, Twitter can be hard to keep people fresh, or even getting them to like remember things that you said 3 days ago. So getting it on here will be a big help. So yeah, anytime you want to come on, just let me know.
Oh, thank you very much. I much appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. No problem, man. Ben, thank you again for being such a lovely co-host, and everyone else. Have a good rest of the day.
Good night, guys. Have a great weekend.
Take care.